Okay, my loves, there's a lot swirling this morning, and I felt guided to open it up here with you. It's connecting with yesterday's messages for the divine feminine and masculine that I did here on YouTube in the part two for members. What seems to be opening is especially a space between the heart and the root chakra through the lower chakras. And what's been coming through is this vision of how prosperity actually blossoms within the heart space, and stability, as we know, blossoms within the root chakra. But what I was seeing is where the energies want to integrate, not flip flop, but actually exchange information. And this feels connected to some of the seeds that were provided from the feminine to the masculine and from the masculine to the feminine. And again, it's like this prosperous energy in the heart space and this stable love energy in the root chakra. But that stable love energy wanting to come up and feed the prosperity in the heart space, and the prosperous heart energy wanting to land down into the roots to support the stable love. And this feels really important because the prosperity energy we've talked about, the prosperity energy is more than just money, but yes, it can be connected to resources and finances, but it's really connected to every area of our life feeling prosperous. And when you're operating, doing things aligned from your heart space, from your higher guidance, from your high heart in heart space, right? I see it as like the higher information comes down, from the crown, third eye, throat into the high heart. The high heart goes into the heart space, and then the heart obviously grounds down through the solar, sacral, and the roots. And what I'm seeing is where from the roots, all of the energy that has been seeded, this is coming in right now from the masculine, from the roots, is like ready to grow up through the chakras into the heart space. The gifts from the feminine are coming down from the crown into the high heart space. And there's this beautiful dance and harmonization happening of camaraderie and reciprocity in the heart, in the high heart. I will let you all sit with that however you feel guided. I do have a feeling there's going to be a session that comes forth with this, because yesterday I kept feeling guided to go into the energy of holding divine alignment. Now, I know that many of us already do this through intending to connect with the highest timeline. What's interesting about this download I received is back in 2020, before the shutdown even happened, when that year began, my word for that year, my focus was divine alignment. And so I'm very deeply feeling like there's a connection point to now that is going back to what is was seeded or opened, activated in 2020. And this can also, for those of you that resonate with that, great, but it's also synonymous with the activation of the feminine and masculine on the planet, because so many twin flame, divine counterpart, sacred union, divine union energies, people, couples, partnerships, connections came into some form of connection in those years, 2020, and obviously even up till now. But I feel like quite a bit happened in 2020, 21, 22 type of arena. And those things that were activated or planted back then, now that we're so much more stable, right? These are being reawakened. The ones that went dormant are coming out of dormancy and being reawakened. And what I'm finding is a big portion of how this is happening and why this is happening is for those who have really been working with the internal union energies, working with um, accepting the connection without needing attachments or expectations of things being a certain way in the physical world. And this is a big part of what I am here to hold on this channel. And I know sometimes some of the messages that I share come across as triggering to people because they hear lots of different things. But really, the messages that I'm bringing through, when I'm bringing them through, are actually holding the codes and the energies for temperance, for non attachment, and also simultaneously acceptance of the connection. And yes, you can absolutely accept the connection and move forward with your processes, with your embodiment of inner union and sacred union without attachment. Now, I also understand that this is a process, okay? And some attachments might come up along the way. And then that's when you set the intention to work with unraveling those attachments and acceptance of the connection. You see what I mean? This whole process is also the dance of where you're finding if you're having an attachment and it's because you want things a certain way, or maybe you have an attachment that you were hurt and you want that to be reconciled. These, whatever it is, whatever, wherever the attachment stems from, it's all okay. The key piece is, like I've said to you, is remembering that this is coming up to show you now where to move into the energy of focusing on, okay, there's something here, there's an attachment, there's a trigger, there's a discomfort, there is a longing. And so, what can I do now to help rebalance that? It's okay that it's there, but I know that I want to feel more self mastery within myself. I want to feel more tempered. I want to embody more temperance. And this whole entire process and the little nuances that we go through are actually how we can move to those states of actually embodying accepting the connection regardless of what is happening in the physical, which ultimately allows you to embody the sacred union energies. And this feels again like the evolution of the internal union, or really where the internal union is solidifying more clearly in the physical when you feel comfortable embodying the sacred union energies within yourself, for the connection. And then again, just allowing things to unfold divinely, right? Just allowing things to work out in their own timing and understanding wherever you are, whatever is happening, you do have the keys and the codes and whatever gifts you're requiring for your next steps are within you or around you, or they are on their way and they're going to reach you at the perfect timing for when you need them. And if you can really drop into the acceptance that everything that you actually need is available for you, then instead of projecting it or needing it to be a certain way from a certain person, you can say, okay, that I feel that inspired me, that opened me up to realizing the potential, right? That's the gifts. And this person is not available to meet me in the physical world right now, but it did inspire this desire within me. So, how can I take that desire and that inspiration and discover the resources, the tools, the connections, the relationships, the friendships, the experiences, the coaches, the videos, the information that I'm requiring to allow myself to go to the next levels and to embody the energies that were inspired within me from my connection. And this can be exceedingly powerful. And I know many of you have been working on this in your own ways. And if not, well, here you go. Now, here's another perspective to ponder and decide if it's correct for you. But as I made my tea this morning, it says, the brightness of your being is generated from within. And as soon as I read it, I knew it was a message from the masculines. And again, with the messages yesterday, with those seeds that are awakening, that are coming out of dormancy, that are opening up and preparing to be birthed and nurtured from the feminine energies, and the seeds and the gifts that are being awakened out of dormancy within the masculine collective, the masculine. There's more opening up within this. And I do feel that for the feminines, it's connected from the heart into the roots. And that message that I shared earlier on, it feels like something from the high heart into the crown is being open for the masculine and reflection. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some messages for both. And let's just see what unfolds. It's funny, but I'm actually guided to flip flop. I usually use the shaman dream for the masculine, but I feel guided to pull a message for the feminines first, connected to the prosperity and stable love between the heart and the roots. And let's just see what wants to come through. Okay. Me talks repairing the body, mind, and spirit. So immediately, this brings me to really lots of self care with the physical body. And obviously, the obvious of taking baths, being around water, walking, nurturing, nourishing foods and drinks and supplements, or whatever it is that you do. What I'm feeling through this is bringing me to deeper states of that parasympathetic, um, calming energy with the nervous system, because as we calm the nervous system, as we feel safe, as our body feels safe, our emotions, our minds, our spirit, everything can relax. And then you become very receptive in the feminine energies. This is really a key piece of the puzzle for the feminines. And another thing that's coming through is the importance of honoring the cycles and the rhythms of your body, depending on where you are in your cycles and your menses. It doesn't really matter in a sense. You still have cycles and rhythms that you go through, and honoring that 28-day cycle as a feminine, as a woman, um, if that's how you resonate in your physical body. Um, but even if you're not in a physical woman's body, it may be very beneficial for you to connect with the moon cycle, that 28-day cycle on our planet. And what I'm really feeling is the importance of getting into the rhythms of the days, the weeks, the months, the years, and allowing your body to share with you its internal wisdom, because human physical feminine bodies are not meant to work in the same way as masculine bodies. But also, I feel, again, this is the gifts of the feminine, the gifts of the masculine, where we can all learn from the gifts from one another, the way a feminine body works, the way a masculine body works, and paying attention to the differences and the different things that are required to support those bodies, but also what can we learn from one another to help balance and restore this? Because in the collective, so many of us were very in the go, 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 work, 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 and it's seen as a heavy masculine society, obviously, which really does not work for a feminine body at all. But in truth, when you look at it collectively, it's not really set up to support the masculine. Yes, the body of a man may be more physically adept to doing those levels of work, but it's still putting the masculine in full survival mode where the masculine is unable to go into parasympathetic um, relaxation and reception mode. So again, it feels like these are important for both parties. Yes, it's also going to look different depending on what body you are in. And I trust that you will discern intuitively, instinctively what is aligned for you. But this energy of really tuning into the rhythms of your body, the rhythms of your nervous system, and actively, consciously calming the rhythms and getting into a nice flowing rhythm that works for you feels really, really, really important to feel safe enough for your body to allow those seeds to grow and birth those onto the planet, right? Like you as a being need to feel safe enough to allow those creations to birth forward. It's very similar to actual childbirth, right? The mother's physical body, if she's in fight or flight or doesn't have enough nutrients or nutrition to support herself, her body will not be able to hold the pregnancy, right? So this is important that in order for the creations to be grounded and nourished, our bodies, our physical vessels need to feel safe and nourished enough to allow those creations to come forward. So I have that rest and digest session that I did a few weeks ago for any of you who want to check in with that to support that process of calming the nervous system in order to be in reception energy. Okay, so now we're going to go into the masculine side. This makes so much sense before I fully do that, right? Like we're connecting it back to it's like the seeds live within your heart, right? The heart merging that took place between the masculine and feminine. And those seeds, as they feel safe or come out of dormancy, again, they come down into the roots. And as you feel safe to nourish and nurture those because you feel safe within yourself, well, now those seeds can be nurtured and grow, right? They're safe to come out of dormancy, my loves. Okay, so for the masculine from the crown and the high heart. Let's see what messages and information is. As I'm saying this, I can feel it thawing out. Now, also remember, if both of these resonate for you, by all means, work with those. And it may help give more insights and perspectives for your own internal sacred union energy, as well as the external physical world energies in the shared space and the connection. Okay, so for the masculines, we have courage, strength, fierceness, and family. And I love this because this is such masculine energy, but it's coming from the crown down. And I think we got this card recently, maybe within the last week in one of my videos. And this feels where, wow, also look at her in the tub, how this is coming out of her head in the crown. Very similar energy. I mean, I know this is more like a mermaid type, but the way it's all of this energy opening up through the crown. And well, for her in the roots as well. Hold on. something's opening with this. I want to, what I'm seeing is like the energy of the golden sun. She's got the gold and the green, which feels, this is so much the prosperity energy for me. And so, okay, it's like the golden, the divine golden energy, the divine alignment energy, the divine masculine solar alignment energy is what comes in from the crown down through the heart and helps to activate more and more of that prosperity energy in the heart space. So when we talked yesterday in the part two, it came through how the masculines actually, if any of you want to watch that, towards the end of it, some of the cards fell out and they fell on the floor. But what was interesting is there was another card from a different deck. In fact, it was the Priestess of Light deck. The Abundance card was on the floor. And I don't know when it fell out because I hadn't used that deck yesterday. But the cards that fell out like led me right to the card. And so there was some pretty cool energies that unfolded that the masculines are like at this point where their prosperity is not growing in the way that they were wanting, or they're feeling some stagnation. And this is part of divine's way of encouraging them. It's like the divine order, the divine nudging from the universe, from source, from God to help the masculines to open those higher chakras, to get the information, to get the support, to access the gifts that were provided from the feminine so that they can reopen their energies of abundance and prosperity as well. So I'm going to actually pull a bit more on this because this feels like what's coming to me is the energy and importance of the masculine and feminine together internally are what helps to support and create the prosperous heart-led energy, right? So you have this capacity to open up and be receptive to receive all of the things that you've been wanting, but those are magnetized in because you are actually holding from that higher aligned heart space, right? The high heart energy, which is the frequency of the purity and the non attachment. It's not the old energy of entrapment or pushing or pulling. It's actually just truly being surrendered and open to receive what is actually aligned with you and for you in what you have and how you have loved yourself and mastered yourself enough to comfortably open to receiving the resources, love, prosperity, and abundance that will actually be reflecting the work that you have done within. And so there's something more as the feminines are working into the roots. There's something working on the masculine side from the crown. And of course, again, this feels like this is happening, and the potential is within all of us for both. But I do also feel there's that collective reflection opening. What else would like to come through around the masculine receiving the gifts of the feminine? And if there's anything that would like to come forward to help increase our awareness, our understanding, or any ways that this can support anyone who's here and their own energy. I'm gonna pick three. Okay. Wow. All right. So there's something in the original contract that is still being played out right now. For some of you, if your masculine or your counterpart is in another connection, third party, karmic, marriage, whatever have you, it doesn't have to necessarily be a relationship. It could be a job, an addiction, whatever. what I'm feeling is this is what is being worked out in this process. This is connected to what the masculines are walking through to learn. And as I felt it, it was like the lights were just lighting up. Boom, boom, boom. It's like the energy is opening, and you see it's a masculine up here in the crown area. This to me is feeling like the karmic feminine and the divine feminine, and where this is being worked out in the energies. Um, Also interesting. One is like, this is interesting. I've never noticed. Like the green thread is not attached to anything, but this red thread is going down to this feminine right here. So we have the green and the red, right? The root and the hearts. So the heart is not attached to this feminine, but there is something in the roots that is being worked out between the masculine and the karmic feminine. And um, but again, it feels like there is this observation of the gifts. There are gifts from both the karmic feminine and the divine feminine that are being processed. And I feel it. It's like it's getting worked out, and then it's like activating the chakras up through the crown. I can feel like a heaviness in the heart with this. But I feel like this is why it's coming from the crown down to the high heart. And then it's going to hit a point through this maturing process in this Six of Cups where it's going to sync up in the heart and the high heart space. So we obviously talk a lot about the internal union being the feminine side and the masculine side coming into harmonization in the physical body. But when we're talking about embodying the sacred union energies, this is where we're embodying from the crown down to the heart and the roots up to the heart. And at least this is how it's coming through right now. And it makes a lot of sense to me because I was like, I can feel where the convergence of the inner union and the sacred union is happening. But when we're looking at it, even if you look at my harmonious heart symbol, it's actually those four directions. And when I channeled that symbol back in 2016, I knew it was the feminine side, the masculine side, and the coming together of heaven and earth into the heart at the center of that diamond. So it really feels like those four directions are really starting to come together in a new and deeper way. So I'm going to leave this here right now. I'm going to let this marinate for a while, but I do feel a session will probably be coming together soon around this, especially connected to this meeting of that divine alignment, right? That divine alignment of heaven and earth, masculine and feminine, all coming together. And in that alignment internally, right? As we hold it internally, that's when you become magnetic for the external reflection. So, my loves, let me know what you're feeling, how you're thinking, what's going on with you. And again, I will put all my information in the pinned comments. And I'm sending you so much love and joy for the rest of your day or night. Take care. Peace.